"We have a week," I said after I read the rules. The projects had to be brought to school next Friday and set up in the auditorium. The whole school would have an assembly at the end of the day to watch the judging.
"That's tons of time," Dwight said. "I do most of my projects the day before they're due, or even that morning, and I've never gotten lower than a C-, except once or twice."
"I think if we're going to do it, we better give it a bit more time than just one day."
"If?"
Dwight asked. "I got a ton of math and reading to slog through." I glanced back at our classroom door. Ms. Flair seemed to think that homework kept kids from getting into trouble. If that was true, I never would have tried to make grilled cheese sandwiches for me and Dwight using his mom's iron, or jump my bicycle from the garage roof to the porch last week. I was still picking scabs off my knee from the crash, but that's okay. I sort of like picking scabs.
"We have to do it," Dwight said. "It's our only chance to get to the Splash-tastic Park grand opening. I've heard it's going to be awesome."
I don't know. That's when a high-pitched laugh shattered my thoughts. It sounded like someone was tickling a gigantic baby with a pitchfork.
"You guys are going to enter?"
Zeke Walther, who'd slithered up behind us, cackled again, then said,
"Forget it, unless they add a nice last-place prize. There's no way you losers have a chance. Ha! Not against me. I'm full of smarts. You're just full of farts."
He smirked and walked off. I turned to Dwight, held up my hand, and said, "Let's do it." He smacked my palm.
"We'll show him who the loser is. I can already feel myself floating in that wave pool."
He closed his eyes and swayed from side to side like he was up to his neck in the water. Then he farted.
"Dwight, knock it off." "Sorry," he said. "I like making bubbles."
"You're not in a real pool," I said.
"Good point."
I reminded myself not to get too close to him once we hit the water, and we were definitely hitting that water. Somehow, some way, my idiot friend and I were going to win first prize. Whatever we did, I had a feeling I'd be doing all of the thinking and most of the work. That didn't stop Dwight from spitting out a stream of ideas as we walked to my place.
"We could bring in cookies," he said. "I could get my mom to bake them. Everyone loves her cookies."
"It's supposed to be about something from the history of the town," I said. "Cookies don't count."
"What if she makes them now and we let them get stale? Then they'd be historic, and she lives here, so they'd be from the town."
He grinned at me.
"Wow, I thought this would be harder."
"It still won't count," I said. "Even if it did, we need to come up with something way better than cookies."
"Oh."
Dwight sighed, stared at the ground for a moment, then let out a whoop and clapped his hands together.
"I got it! This is perfect! We'll make one of those diarrhea things."
"What are you talking about?" My brain wrestled with itself, trying to think up any possible connection between stomach cramps and history.
"You know, shoebox diarrhea," Dwight said, "where you cut out stuff, color it, and glue it in the box."
"That's a diorama," I said, "not a diarrhea." Now my brain was wrestling with the image of Dwight carrying a sloshing shoebox to school. Luckily, my imagination was nice enough to make sure the box had a lid on it.
"Diorama?" he asked. "You sure?"
"Yep, I'm positive."
"Shoot, I guess that explains why Mrs. Escherichia kept laughing at me last year when I turned in my project and told her it was the best diarrhea I'd ever made."
Dwight stared at the ground for another minute as we walked.
"So anyhow, you think we should make one of those?"
"Half the kids who enter are going to do that," I said. "The other half will probably do some sort of poster."
"What about the third half?" Dwight asked.
"That would be us," I said. "We need to come up with something awesome. We have to completely blow away all the shoeboxes and posters." By the time we reached my house, Dwight had tossed out a bunch more suggestions, most of which had nothing to do with history. The couple things that might have worked would also definitely get both of us expelled if we brought them to school, though I had to admit that the idea of making a full-size, fully working Civil War cannon was sort of cool. So was an authentic samurai sword, even though I didn't think there was any connection between Japanese warriors and nukes.